Hey guys, I had a number of requests to make a video on how to clean and lube a 2011, so let's get started. First, let's make sure that the chamber is empty, and it is. I'm going to insert the reverse plug tool. My last videos on disassembling and assembling a 2011, I had the Dawson Tools guide rod, but on this gun I have standard. So you'll see here there is a I guess an L shape or a 90-degree churn, and that is going to go into that hole in there, if you can see that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on, insert it in the hole, and it'll capture the guide rod. Then I'm going to line up the slide release with that little hump here, and I'm going to pull out the release, or in my case a thumb stop. I'm going to take the slide off, take the guide rod out, take the barrel out, and we at this point are field stripped. So let's get to cleaning. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart the guide rod. I'm going to, with pressure, press down on the reverse plug and take out the retaining pin. I'm going to take a towel and clean it. Clean the spring. Then I'm going to clean the reverse plug. Take a Q-tip and go in there and clean it out. Doesn't need to be thorough, but just clean enough. And I'll take the barrel, clean the surfaces off. Take a brush, just a nylon brush, and make it those corners. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this solvent, I'm going to put a few drops in here, and with my finger still holding onto the front of the barrel, I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to make sure that it spreads around. It's dripping all over me. Alright. And I'm going to set that aside to let it kind of just soak in. Alright. Clean the slide stop. And now onto the slide. It is dirty. I haven't cleaned this in a couple matches and a few practice sessions. Make sure to clean these spaces as well. And I like to get in there with a brush, kind of just break up the carbon a bit. Clean the breech face. Get underneath the extractor there. And just brush the slide. And we take our towel and just go in there and clean it down. You're not going to get 100%, but we can go to finer detail in a bit. Just get most of it out. Let's get the rails. You can actually take a Q-tip and get some of the hard to reach areas. All right, mostly cleaned. So you can see in there where the barrel kind of links up. It gets pretty dirty and it's kind of hard to get in there. So I just take a Q-tip and just kind of wipe inside. Just do a general wipe. I try to get it pretty clean. You're not going to be able to get 100%, but all right, that is pretty clean. Now, since I have these cutouts, I'm just gonna clean them real quick. The last place, this is the most difficult one to reach, is this little channel where the ejector rides in. So I'll take a patch or my towel here, and I'll just run a thin punch or a tool in there, kind of just run it along and try to get that. There you go. And that is a pretty much a clean slide. It's ready to go. Yep. There you go. We can put that aside. And now the frame. And this is pretty dirty. I don't generally take apart the grip or the mainspring housing and the trigger components. I maybe do that twice a year. But you can reference back on my disassembly video and just take it apart, wipe out down all the parts, and then lube them how I tell you to lube the sear. Other than that, just wipe it down. Get the rails. All right, another place that's kind of tricky is right underneath the ejector, right where I'm pointing. I'll just take a nylon brush and just brush out the carbon. And I'll wipe it down as best I can. And now you can see it's pretty clean. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. All right, once everything is wiped down, it's time to lube and reassemble the gun. I forgot the barrel. So I'll kind of just roll that liquid I just put in there, roll it around, get a bore brush, put some of that liquid on there, just a little bit. And since I just cleaned everything, I'm going to cover it all up. Another paper towel. And brush. Barrel down. Pretty clean, but after that, I like to take a bore snake, run it through 4 or 5 times. Kind of just polishes everything up. And maybe this is for rifle, but I only go one way with snake. Probably not these handguns, but all right. Wipe down. That's pretty clean. All right, time to assemble. Take some lube. This is just FP10. This is recommended by Brazos, and this is just a smaller bottle of it. Take my guide rod, throw a few drops on there, and smear it around, and take whatever left on my fingers and coat the spring with it. And then when you put the spring back, there is a closed end or a compressed end of the spring, and then there's an open end. So I'll put the closed end first. We're going to put the plug back on. I gotta find the hole first. It's easier with the toolless guide rod, but all right, there it is. Set that aside, and we'll work on the slide. So I'll put a few drops in there, just on the bottom, and I'll kind of smear it around with my finger. I'll put a drop here, and then I'll smear it around, and then I put a drop or two on each of the rails, and I'll let it kind of hang down, and it'll run down it. But that's pretty much it. And I'll let that run down. Then I'll put a little bit on my fingertip. And I'll wipe the sides of the rails. I might just put a little drop here and here. They tend to rub right on along these edges, so I'll put a little bit of oil there. All right, then I'll oil up the barrel, just kind of smear it around. I'm pretty generous on lube on the barrel. Get some on the link. And I'll put a drop right here. And then we'll put the barrel back. And then we'll put the guide rod back in. And we'll set this aside, work on the frame. All right, I will put a drop right on top of the rails here, just a tiny drop, and a tiny drop there. Smear that around. I'll take the excess and smear it right on the top. Then I'm going to do a drop there. Drop on the back rail. A little bit more lube. Same for the other side. Take the excess, kind of spread it around. And then I'll put one drop on the disconnector. All right. That's it. Take the slide, put it back on the frame. Line up the holes. Put the slide stop back in. Take the retaining pin out and wipe down the excess oil. I'll probably rack it a few times. All right, that's it. That's how you clean a 2011. Hope this was helpful. See you later, guys.